Ryan Fitzpatrick, through 3 games, becomes the first quarterback to ever throw for 400 or more yards. He has a bad half, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers bench him. Jameis Winston comes in and throws 2 interceptions. This doesn't make any sense to me at all. This doesn't make any sense to me at all for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to immediately go back to Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston's not very good. To decide that you only allow Ryan Fitzpatrick to have one bad half, meanwhile, while your defense is giving up 6 touchdown passes to Mitch Trubisky. That's like getting dunked on 28 consecutive times by Luke Longley. It shouldn't happen no matter what. There's no way defensible to allow 6 touchdown catches for that to happen. I don't get it. I don't understand how the decision is made. This is an utter disaster to me. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, think about this for a minute. 63 minutes of football ago. That's all it was. Ryan Fitzpatrick was taking the ball on Monday Night Football with a chance to drive the field and lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a 3-0 start. They go 3 straight incompletions, make what I think was the wrong decision to punt, don't get the ball back, and then go on the road against Chicago in a short week and get drilled. It doesn't make any sense to me that you would go back to Jameis Winston. And if you want to get ESPN left-wingers into a convoluted ball of absurdity, can you imagine if a black quarterback had come out and put up the 3 greatest passing weeks in the history of the NFL, and then he had one bad half and he got benched? Can you imagine how many racism allegations would be flying across the social media stratosphere? Think about that for a minute with me. If a black quarterback had stepped in for a white starter and had gone for over 400 yards in 3 straight games, something that has never happened before in the history of athletics in the NFL, and had been benched after one half for a white quarterback who was coming off a sexual assault suspension, can you imagine how crazy the race-baiting losers at ESPN would go? Think about that for a minute. You have the best 3-game stretch in the history of the NFL by Ryan Fitzpatrick. He plays one bad half and gets benched for a guy who was suspended for sexual assault. The internets would be feverish if that was a black quarterback being benched for a white quarterback coming back to start. Tell me how crazy the internet would be going. The race-baiting losers at ESPN would be playing the race card faster than you can even draw it. Ryan Fitzpatrick gets replaced by Jameis Winston, who's suspended for sexual assault in this modern Me Too era, and nobody even blinks. The same people out there beating the drum saying Brett Kavanaugh can never be allowed to be a Supreme Court justice, got no issues with Jameis Winston making millions of dollars to play quarterback, despite the fact that he may well have gotten away with rape at Florida State, and that he only had to serve a 3-game suspension for sexual assault once he's gotten to the NFL. I mean, I'm just laying it out there. This is why, by the way, I think racial arguments are often wrong. There is typically always a reason other than race which determines why a decision is being made. I think this happens to be just a bad decision. Why are they doing it? I think they're doing it because they're trying to figure out whether they're going to invest $20 million in Jameis Winston next year. I think there's pressure from up top to figure out whether or not Jameis Winston is the future of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And if they continue to play Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is 35 or 36 years old, they don't know what to do. They don't know the decision that they need to make because there won't be enough evidence of whether Jameis Winston is the right guy or not. So I think that's really why the decision is being made. It's a financial one as opposed to a justified by on-the-field football results. But if this were any other race, if Jameis Winston were a white guy coming back getting paid $20 million to replace a black guy who had just posted the 3 best games in the history of the NFL, everybody would immediately play the race card. Everybody. My argument against playing race is that the NFL, by and large, is a meritocracy. And we don't need to bring in external political factors to try to justify why decisions are being made, because usually there is a financial or competitive reason by which the decision is being made. For instance, money plays. And money right now is on Jameis Winston's side, and the Bucs have to decide whether or not they are going to pay him $20 million going forward. And I don't think they have a good sense of what the answer is going to be.